Hey guys, this is Sterling with Rich Veteran again. What I want to discuss today is VA loans and why it's probably making you poor or why it could really screw you. So the challenge here is a lot of guys, probably 80–90% of the guys and girls are using VA loans to buy a house when they are only going to be at a duty station for 2 to 4 years for the most part. So then they're stuck, all right? They aren't looking at some of these other things. So what I want to do is discuss kind of the major problems with this, and then I'll make another video here in the future to do some of the stuff for why it's good, what you can use, because it is a powerful tool, but it's also a dangerous tool that could really screw you. So let's get into it, guys. Let's just say you're buying a home, you move to a new place. Let's say it's here at Fort Bragg, all right? Let's say you're buying a home, its purchase price is $250,000. Pretty nice place around here, all right? Your VA funding fee added on top of that, if you're putting no money down, your VA funding fee right now for your first time purchase is 2.15%, okay? If it's your second use or third use or whatever of the funding fee, it'll be 3.3. So that number would actually be a little bit higher, okay? So closing costs, I didn't really factor in there just to make the numbers a little rounder, a little easier to work with, all right? So total finance, let's say you're financing $255,000, okay? On a 30-year fixed mortgage at 4.5%. I just checked it yesterday. Today is the 27th of June. So I just checked it. It was 4.4%. So right now it'll be coming up there, and it might even get higher here soon. We'll discuss that later. All right. But let's say you're doing all that. After time, you're making your payments. The payments on that one would be right around $1,368, okay, per month. All right, now let's say in 3 years, it's time to PCS. You're moving to Fort Carson, Fort Washington, Fort Hood, to Alaska, anything. It doesn't matter. It's time to sell your home so you have your VA funding again so you can buy another one there. All right, this is where guys screw up. All right, they screwed up on the purchase, so now they're kind of screwed and stuck. So let's get into this here. Is it sell? Let's say it's 3 years down the line, 36 payments, okay? Price. Let's say it went up 1% per year, which Fort Bragg, it might be around there. You might get a little bit better growth. You might get an off year. It depends on when you hit the market. We'll discuss that in another video too, all right? But let's just say you got 1% of growth per year, giving you an average of that 3% total growth, all right? So you are selling the house. Remember, you bought it at $250. You're now selling it at $257,500, okay? You got broker costs in there. All right, the average broker cost is 6%. You can renegotiate that a little bit, and a lot of you guys would say, well, I just wouldn't use brokers if it's going to cost me $15,000. I'm going to lean against that, all right, guys? They have a ton of knowledge, a ton of ability to market and get your property out there that unless you have a buyer yourself, use a broker. All right, guys, it'll save you in the long run. They're going to do a lot of legwork for you and get people in looking at your house, okay? So use it. This money is worth it. And remember, guys, the actual broker doesn't get all this money. For one, usually there's a buyer and a seller's broker, your listing broker and your buyer's broker. So that money gets cut right in half, okay? So each of them would get half of that. And truly, for both of them, 30 to 50% of their fee goes to the broker house, goes to the company that they work for. So the actual broker isn't getting a whole lot of money of that. So they're working their butt off for you guys. So just so that's kind of clear, all right? So you got your broker cost factored in. And usually your buyers will pay for an inspection, okay? Once that inspection report comes back, they kind of have the option to either kind of renegotiate some stuff with you or get you to fix stuff. Basically is what it comes down to. If you've been really prudent about maintaining your home and things like that, your cost won't be that high. That's where like a $3,000 on a $250,000 home isn't really that bad. That's pretty low for post-inspection repairs that you would need to complete, whether it be an allowance to get something fixed or actually you're paying to fix it, okay? And that money can come out of it at closing, all right? So, but this is pretty low. We've seen homes here, even in the Fort Bragg region, depending on the price of the homes, you can get into the $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 in cost. It really depends on how well you're good with your home, termites, all these other things, hail, paint, anything, new carpets, everything that can happen into there, okay? So after all this is subtracted from your original purchase price, you have the balance that would be coming to you in the sale of $239,000, all right? But you got to pay your mortgage back, right? After 3 years, 36 payments, you still owe $242,000, a little bit over, right? And this is based on these terms after 36 payments, all right? So now at the closing table, you would have to bring a check for $3,000, cashier's check, okay? And that's if you only had maybe $3,000 of post-inspection repairs, or what if you had 5? What if you had 10? What if you had 15? All right, guys, this number jumps up exponentially. All right, so now you're trapped because either you come up with that cash, and the reason you bought was so that way you weren't throwing away your money. Well, now you're throwing away a hell of a lot more, okay? So let's just, the challenge here is really like this number is pretty small. Even if you only have 1,000 or 2, it might be worth it to just get out of it. But then guys, when they get trapped, all you guys are like, well, I'll just rent it out. That's perfect. Great. But you didn't buy it to rent. You didn't go into this thing thinking that this is going to be a rental. I'm going to buy it in a market that makes sense for rent, a little sub-market and a little pocket neighborhood that's going to be the best for rent that I can get a good rent. Plus, you financed the whole thing, and unless you bought right in a growing market, plus you maybe did some repairs to it, fixed it up a little bit, cleaned it up, all right, now you're probably going to be cash flow negative in this thing on rents, all right? So what I mean by that is you may owe $1,400 in a total mortgage payment, but with taxes, insurance, the PIT, the principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. All right, guys? But once you get there, is if you owe $1,400, but you can only rent it for $1,200, now every month $200 is coming out of your pocket. So now you also, unless you can refinance it into a different loan, now you're stuck. You have to come up with a down payment or rent at your next location in order to figure that out. Okay, so that's really the challenge here, guys. And this is a conservative estimate in a slow market. There is ways around it, guys. There is ways to buy right in the first place. There's ways to dissect your market and make sure you're buying in a good area. All right, there's some powerful ways to use the VA loan, and we'll get into that in the next video. All right, guys. Hey, as far as that goes, hey, make sure you're following us on Instagram at Real Veteran. Keep subscribe to our channel, please. And of course, go to the website, richveteran.com. Start watching our other videos, start reading through some of the blog posts. I'll get into some of the more technical stuff, some of the math, and we'll, of course, write articles for mindset and everything like that on how to really, truly build your wealth, guys. All right, see you next time.